How did Earth's greatest heroes go from this?
That's right. You can call us the Super 7.
Please don't call us that.
The Super 7?
To this?
Batman stepped out to talk to the big man.
Batman's returned. And with his lord and master.
Well, we're gonna find out, because today we're covering the entire story of the DC Animated Universe. The DC Animated Universe was a series of animated DC projects lasting from 2013 all the way to 2020. Yeah, and it has some pretty high highs and some real ugly lows. So let's get right into it. The movie starts with a flashback of Barry Allen, also known as The Flash, as a kid, spending time with his mom, Nora Allen. Nora was a sweet, loving mother, and Barry had a pretty happy life. Until he came home one day to see she'd been murked by someone, and they never caught the killer. Fast forward to today. Barry visits Nora's grave with his wife, Iris West, and Barry still blames himself for not being there to protect his mom. The self-pity has to wait though, because someone just broke into the Flash Museum. So Barry suits up and goes there to basically find all of his rogues gallery there. Top, Mirror Master, Heatwave, Captain Boomerang, Captain Cold, yeah, they're all there. They managed to trap the Flash using some super glue type stuff. And that's when the mastermind behind everything shows up, Eobard Thawne, aka the Reverse Flash. Thawne has the same powers as Barry, and he's one evil sicko. He's planted bombs on all of Barry's villains, and on Barry. He's gonna blow up the museum and half of Central City. Barry manages to trap Thawne too, but this sicko is willing to die if it means the Flash does as well. Lucky for Barry, he has friends too. The Justice League shows up. Together, they disarm the bombs, and Thawne's plans fail miserably. As the villains get carted off to jail, Thawne tells Barry that no matter how fast he is, he can't save everyone, and he's referring to his mother Nora. Flash just decides to run that comment off. Later, Barry wakes up in his office. He's a forensic scientist for the Central City Police Department. He wakes up seeing a deadline about Armageddon, and he just shrugs it off. He then sees villains fighting on TV and decides to suit up, but he doesn't have his ring. He falls on the street, and someone asks him if he's okay, and that person is Nora. She's alive? What is going on? After a heartbreaking hug with his mom, Barry tells her that he's the Flash. One problem with that though is Barry doesn't have his powers and no one knows who the hell the Flash is. You guessed it, he's been transported to an alternate timeline. We then cut to Batman, who's shooting guns at Harley Quinn. Laugh it up, Zack Snyder. After stopping an alternate Harley Quinn named Yo-Yo, Batman throws her off the roof to die. Luckily, Cyborg saves her and tries to recruit Batman to the Justice League. You see, in this timeline, Aquaman's kingdom Atlantis and Wonder Woman's island of Themyscira are at war with each other, and they're straight up destroying the world, but Batman refuses to join them. He says that they already lost the war. He's even more depressed than normal Batman, and that's saying something. Meanwhile, Barry goes to check on Lois, who's married to someone else and even has a daughter. Yeesh. Seeing this, he decides to go find Batman. Unfortunately, Batman starts beating the hell out of him, and that's when Barry realizes it. This Batman isn't Bruce Wayne, it's his dad, Thomas Wayne. You know Batman's famous origin story? Well, in this timeline, Bruce is the one that died in Crime Alley. God damn! Meanwhile, we see an old agent named Steve Trevor running away from Diana, aka Wonder Woman, and her Amazon warriors. They eventually catch him, and Steve tells them that he was there to save Lois Lane before Diana murks him. Ouch. Meanwhile, Barry eventually convinces Thomas that he's telling the truth and realizes what happened. Thawne must have gone back in time and changed something, which led to this hellish timeline. Barry then says they need to recreate the accident that gave him his powers. Ooh, things are heating up, baby. We then cut to the mercenary and sometimes anti-hero Deathstroke, who is working with Superman's arch-nemesis Lex Luthor to save the world. Crazy timeline pull. Their mission is to find a weapon of mass destruction that Aquaman is hiding. It's supposedly powerful enough to blow up a whole continent. Unfortunately, they all get cornered and killed by Aquaman and his army, but not before Luthor sends out their location. Look at that, he actually died a hero. Meanwhile, Barry and Thomas recreate the experiment that got Barry his powers, and it goes horribly wrong. Barry gets burnt to a crisp. No! Meanwhile, Cyborg is talking with none other than President Obama, and he gives Cyborg some bad news. Without Batman, there is no Justice League, and he's sending the military to fight Aquaman. That is one bad choice, Mr. President. One bad choice. We then get a quick recap of what happened in this timeline. You see, when Superman was sent to Earth as a baby, he crash landed in Metropolis instead of Kansas, and nobody has seen seen him since then. Meanwhile, we see how the war between Atlantis and Themyscira started. Aquaman and Wonder Woman did the deed, and Aquaman's wife, Queen Mera, got jealous and attacked Wonder Woman, and Wonder Woman killed her. And now they're at war. So you're telling me the end of the world happened because Aquaman cheated on his wife? Yeah, it checks out. We then see what happened after Bruce Wayne died. His dad decided to become Batman, but his mom Martha, she lost her mind and turned into the Joker. Yeah, I'm done with this timeline. Back with Barry, he wakes up screaming in pain. Batman says he's lucky to be alive, but Barry doesn't care. They need to get his powers back, even if it kills him. Yeesh. Meanwhile, we see how Aquaman plans to power his super bomb with the nuclear superhero Captain Atom. That is insane. Meanwhile, Barry and Thomas recreate the experiment again, and this time it works. Barry gets his powers back and saves Thomas's life. Whew. Meanwhile, we see Lois Lane on the run from some of Wonder Woman's soldiers, also known as Amazonians, and she's cooked before a speedster saves her. The good guys then show up, but they don't have Speedster on their team, and the Flash is in Gotham, so who the heck saved her? Speaking of the Flash, he suits up and tries to go back in time, but he can't. He's not fast enough, and he just starts crying. Damn. We then cut to Hal Jordan, also known as Green Lantern, only he never got the ring in this timeline, so he's not the Green Lantern. Instead, he's the best pilot the United States has, which is a sweet consolation prize if you ask me. Anyway, Hal gets tasked with flying an alien spaceship into the upcoming war, and Hal is all for it. Meanwhile, Barry realizes that Thawne is also using the Speed Force, the source of his speedster powers, so he can't go back in time until they figure out how to stop him, and they need more help. So they call in Cyborg. Why? Because they're gonna find Superman. After breaking into a top secret government facility, they find Superman, but he's been kept in a red sun chamber, and he's powerless. They break him out only for the military to show up and start shooting. Now, in the sunlight, Superman gets his powers, and he saves his new friends. Unfortunately, he kills the soldiers, panics, and flies away. And that's when Barry starts tweaking out. His old memories are being replaced by the ones from this timeline, and it's causing a seizure. Jeez, will this movie just slow down? We then see Hal flying his alien aircraft towards Aquaman's ship, only to get eaten by a giant sea monster. Rest in peace to the goat. Also, he was voiced by Nathan Fillion, who is the Green Lantern in James Gunn's new Superman. Anyway, Flash wakes up to the news that the final battle between Aquaman and Wonder Woman is about to begin. So he rallies Cyborg, Batman, and the Shazam kids, and they decide to head to the battlefield. As the final battle begins, Lois Lane shows up with the Resistance, and Barry shows up with his team. The fight begins, and it's total chaos. During this battle, Thomas gets shot, and Barry takes him to safety. He wants to save Thomas, but the old man says he's already dead. He tells Barry to find Thawne and stop him before disappearing. Even in another timeline, it's a classic Batman move. Lucky for Barry, he doesn't have to look for Thawne. The evil bastard just shows up, and they start running across the battlefield, fighting as they do. Unfortunately, Thawne gets the upper hand on Barry and stabs his leg with a pipe. He beats him senseless, and then he reveals the truth to Barry. Thawne isn't the one that went back in time and changed the world. It was Barry. He went back in time and saved his mom, and Barry is forced to accept responsibility for everything as he sees the good guys die all across the battlefield. Meanwhile, Aquaman gets cornered by Wonder Woman, and she asks him to surrender. He refuses, and she kills him as he sets off the world-ending nuke. Meanwhile, Thawne is ready to die just to get one over on Barry. And he does die, but not from the nuke. Thomas shoots him in the head from behind. He then gives Barry a letter and tells him to run. Barry starts moving and eventually gets fast enough to go back in time. There he stops his previous self from saving his mom, and then he wakes up in his own timeline. He visits his mom's grave and hugs Iris. Everything is back to normal again. He then visits the real Batman and gives him the letter Thomas wrote. We don't see what's in it, but whatever it was, it's enough to bring Batman to tears. He thanks Barry, and the speedster runs off as the movie ends. Phew, that's just the first movie. A post-credits scene shows a portal open above Earth and a bunch of very unfriendly monsters fly through it. Flashpoint led to a rebooting of the DC universe. It is the same characters you know and love, just with some different flavors. So let's get into it. The next movie starts with Hal Jordan, aka the Green Lantern, chasing some alien monstrosity called a parademon through Gotham. There he runs into Bruce Wayne, aka Batman, and after some arguing, they decide to team up and catch this alien. They follow the parademon into the sewers, where we get the iconic scene of Green Lantern finding out that Batman is just a guy in a costume.
Wait, you're not just some guy in a bat costume, are you?
Classic. Anyway, the parademon plants something into the wall, says, "For Darkseid," and blows itself up. Green Lantern protects himself and Batman from the explosion, and they analyze the thing the parademon planted. It's not a bomb like Green Lantern thought, it's a computer of some kind. We then cut to Star Labs in Metropolis, where they're analyzing a computer just like the one Batman and Green Lantern found. It was brought to them by Barry Allen, aka The Flash, and it's being researched by Silas Stone. Silas is super locked into the research. He even ditches his son Victor's football game for it. Speaking of the football game, a kid named Billy Batson sneaks into the stadium to watch. There, he sees Victor throw the game-winning touchdown, and everyone's happy, except for Victor. He's sad that his dad didn't show up to the game. Damn. While Diana, aka Wonder Woman, peacefully shuts down a protest against her, Billy goes to meet Victor later and they talk. Victor's sad his dad didn't show up, but Billy thinks he's lucky to even have one. The poor kid's an orphan. Well, at least he got Vic's jersey. Meanwhile, Batman and Green Lantern make their way to Metropolis to ask Superman about the computer. He's an alien too, and that seems kind of racist. But anyway, Superman is fighting a parademon when they show up, and the Green Lantern says he'll just beat some answers out of Superman. Unfortunately, this is Superman we're talking about, and he proceeds to kick both Batman and the Green Lantern's asses all over Metropolis. Batman decides that they need to talk and reveals that he knows Superman's real identity, a reporter at the Daily Planet named Clark Kent. Superman uses his X-ray vision to find out Batman's identity, and they agree to investigate this alien computer. Meanwhile, we see the big bad behind this all. His name is Darkseid, and he's basically a god, and an evil one at that. Meanwhile, Victor goes to confront his dad at Star Labs and grabs an alien computer. That's when both computers start beeping and they both explode. Victor gets caught in the explosion, and we find out what they are. You see, these machines are called mother boxes, and they open portals called boom tubes. And what do you think comes crawling out? Yep, you guessed it, more parademons. While Batman and the others begin fighting, Victor was hurt badly in the explosion. So Silas and his colleagues run from the parademons and take him to another room, where Silas tries to save Victor's life by injecting him with a bunch of robot tech. Victor flatlines at first, before the technology in him starts taking over all the stuff around him, and he's alive again. While Wonder Woman starts fighting parademons at the White House, Victor fights off the parademons with his new robot body. With some help from the Flash, he destroys the parademons, and just like that, Victor Stone is now Cyborg. Back in Metropolis, Batman, Green Lantern, and Superman are still fighting off a horde of parademons. That's when Superman hears that the president is in trouble and flies off to save him. Patriotism, am I right? Anyway, we see that Billy goes back to his foster home, where he runs into a parademon. Luckily, he's a superhero too, and his name is Shazam. And every time he says Shazam, he turns into Shazam. You follow all that? Meanwhile, the president's plane gets attacked by parademons. Man, he looks cooked. Until Wonder Woman shows up and saves him from the parademons, and Superman shows up to save the plane from crashing. The two instantly have chemistry. They will low-key make a hilarious couple. Meanwhile, Victor, aka Cyborg, is freaking out over being half human, half machine, and he walks over to the boom tube. There, his robot brain shows him Darkseid's plan: capture living beings, turn them into parademons, and use them to take over the universe. That's an efficient plan if you ask me, but no one ever asks me anything, so you guys should just ask me some stuff in the comments. Anyway, all of our heroes finally group up in Metropolis. After some fighting, they all realize that they're on the same side. Cyborg tells them how Darkseid makes the parademons and how he plans to transform Earth into his own kingdom. Oh, and speak of the devil, because Darkseid is here. Scratch that, he might be worse than the devil. So speak of the Darkseid, the devil's here. Anyway, Green Lantern tries to fight Darkseid on his own and finds himself on the end of an iconic beatdown. Poor GL got memed in this movie, but not memed on harder than the ratings of the Ryan Reynolds Green Lantern. Anyway, the fighting starts and the heroes are getting overwhelmed. While the Flash takes out some more parademons, Superman gets knocked out by one of Darkseid's Omega beams, and a parademon carries him to Darkseid's ship. Green Lantern wants to save him, but Batman stops him. Batman then reveals his identity to Green Lantern and tells him to take charge, and has himself kidnapped by the parademons. He's gonna save Superman. While Batman heads inside to free Superman, Green Lantern rallies the heroes. They come up with a plan, stab Darkseid in the eyes to get rid of his Omega lasers, while Cyborg tries to send parademons back using some alien computer stuff. Shazam tries to play lone hero, but Wonder Woman smacks some sense into him. Literally. and the heroes lock in as a team. While Batman tries to free Superman from turning into a super parademon, the heroes work together and Wonder Woman takes out one of Darkseid's eyes. Man, she's so cool in this one. Back with Batman, he frees Superman, but he's not okay. He starts going on a rampage, destroying everything in sight. Meanwhile, Darkseid starts pummeling Wonder Woman, and the heroes are on the back foot. Still, they're really good at being awesome, and they manage to outsmart Darkseid and stab him in the other eye too. No more annoying Omega beams. While Batman is trying to talk some sense into Superman and get him back to normal, Cyborg hacks into a mother box. He uses it to open boom tubes all over the world, and the parademons start getting sucked in. Darkseid is getting pulled in too, but he fights it off. The heroes start fighting him, trying to push him into the boom tube. He's too strong though, and starts coming back out, until Batman and Superman show up. Superman has his senses back, and the heroes fight together to send Darkseid away. While the others shove him into the boom tube, Shazam helps Cyborg power up the mother box, and they close the boom tube on Darkseid. Cyborg sees that Shazam is just a kid, but promises to keep his secret. That's pretty cool. After that, Cyborg brings back all the abducted humans, and the day is saved. What's more is the people love them now. Sometime later, the president gathers all 7 of our heroes and honors them for the whole world to see. Green Lantern doesn't want to be a part of a team, but Flash and Batman disagree. They need to be ready if something like this happens again. The president then asks them what they want to be called, and Shazam says, the Super 7. Yeah, I've got a better idea. How about the Justice League? The post-credits scene shows a ship coming out of the water, along with a man. His name is Prince Orm. He blames the humans for his father's death, and he wants revenge. Well, here we go again. The movie starts in the mountains, at the secret hideout of the League of Shadows. The League of Shadows is an ancient organization led by Ra's al Ghul. Ra's is a master assassin who's been alive for over 500 years thanks to the Lazarus Pit, a pool of magical power that restores a person's youth and heals damage. Ra's oversees the League with his smoking hot daughter, Talia al Ghul, who's also an assassin, and his grandson Damian, who, you guessed it, also an assassin. Everything is going well until they suddenly get attacked. A bunch of armed men show up in helicopters, and they begin shooting. The fight begins between them and the League of Shadows, with Ra's leading the defense. Ra's is cooking the men inside when he comes face to face with the man behind the attack, Slade Wilson, also known as Deathstroke. Deathstroke used to be a part of the League of Shadows, but Ra's kicked him out, so he's here for revenge. They fight, there's an explosion, and Ra's gets grilled like a barbecue. Damian jumps in to save his grandfather, and he manages to take out one of Deathstroke's eyes, but Deathstroke and his men escape. Ra's tries to make it into the Lazarus Pit, but it's too late. He's already dead. So Talia says she's taking Damian to Gotham. It's time he met his father. Wait, what? We then cut to Gotham, where Batman is fighting Killer Croc. It's not going so great. Until Talia electrocutes Croc and saves Batman. What's more is she calls him beloved. I wish she'd call me that. Anyway, Talia then gives Batman the tea. Ra's is dead, and Deathstroke is after Talia and Damian. So she's leaving Damian with Batman. Why? Well, because Damian is Batman's son, of course. Boom. Damian doesn't love this idea, and Batman isn't thrilled either, but he takes Damian in anyway. They then go to the Batcave, where Damian meets Alfred Pennyworth, Bruce's butler and his closest friend. Damian settles into the mansion pretty quickly. Maybe this won't be so bad after all. We then cut to Dr. Kirk Langstrom, who has been working for the League of Shadows. His job? Help Ra's create super soldiers by mixing human DNA with animals. Unfortunately, Deathstroke has captured him and his family. With Ra's gone, Deathstroke says that Langstrom works for him now, and he's running out of time. Meanwhile, Bruce and Alfred see Damian training in the garden, and while Alfred is already done with Damian's shit, Bruce is impressed by his skills. While Deathstroke pressures Langstrom to hurry up his work, Bruce makes it to his office to find Damian sitting inside. Damian wants to find Deathstroke, and he knows how, by finding his partner, Ubu. Damian wants to kill Deathstroke, but Bruce says they don't kill, and this is going to be a point of contention between them for a long while. So Bruce sends Damian home and tells him to stay put. Meanwhile, Talia tries to infiltrate Deathstroke's base, but fails and gets knocked out cold. Back in Gotham, Batman goes to interrogate Killer Croc. Batman knows he was getting drugs from Kirk Langstrom, and he wants to know where Langstrom is. With Croc's info, Batman makes his way to Langstrom's home, where he sees that Langstrom was experimenting on a bunch of animals. animals, including a winged gorilla. That's kind of funny, actually. Batman beats the gorilla, but before he can do some more investigation, a drone destroys the building. Batman puts the fire out, and he picks up a ninja star. At least there's some evidence left. Meanwhile, Damian goes to fight Ubu. They fight, and Damian ends up whooping his ass. That's one dangerous kid. Damian is about to kill Ubu when he's stopped by Nightwing. Of course, his real name is Dick Grayson, and he used to be Batman's sidekick and went by the name of Robin. Now he's his own hero, and he's awesome at his job. Nightwing fights and ties up Damian, though he does get cut up in the process. But remember, Damian was trying to kill him, but Nightwing was only trying to stop him. Anyway, after Damian and Nightwing argue, Batman confronts Damian, and he says they don't kill, because they always have to do the right thing. Damn straight. He tells Damian a simple rule: justice, not vengeance. Remember those words. He then decides to take Damian with him, and they're gonna find Deathstroke. So Batman heads out with Damian, who suits up as Robin for the very first time. They get some info from Gotham City Police Commissioner Jim Gordon, and head over to an abandoned amusement park. They sneak in and find Langstrom and start questioning him. It's going well until Robin blows their cover. Langstrom makes a run for it, and Batman and Robin escape from the bucket load of assassins there, but they have bigger problems, because there's an army of man-bats waiting for them. Yep, they're humans, who had bat DNA mixed into their genes. It's seriously messed up. Anyway, Batman gets himself and Robin out of there after some fighting, and they take Langstrom to the Batcave. There, they figure out Deathstroke's plan, and find out where he's keeping Langstrom's family. So they decide to go after him. Meanwhile, we see that Talia is alive and being held prisoner by Deathstroke. Why he's doing that? I don't know. Villains are pretty stupid sometimes. On the way there, Batman realizes that while his childhood was bad, Damian's was way worse. He was trained to be a machine, not a human, and Batman wants to change that. They then make it there and free Langstrom's family. There, Langstrom's daughter secretly gives Damian a phone with a message from Deathstroke on it. He challenges Damian to a duel, threatens to kill Talia if he doesn't, and tells him to come alone. Damian, being an idiot, decides to go alone. Luckily, Batman figures out where he's going, so he follows. Meanwhile, Damian makes his way to an oil rig. It's where Deathstroke is hiding. He takes out some assassins and makes his way inside. There, at the bottom, he sees what the rig is really hiding: a Lazarus pit and a lot of man-bats. That's when Deathstroke shows up with Talia, and after a standoff, Damian drops his gun and Deathstroke is about to shoot him, but Talia jumps in the way and gets shot instead. Oh no! Deathstroke has Damian cornered, and it looks bad until Batman shows up. He starts cooking Deathstroke, so Deathstroke sicks the man-bats on him. Luckily, Batman uses sound waves to freak out the man-bats, and they try to escape, but unfortunately, that kinda destroys the whole oil rig, and the place starts flooding. Deathstroke tries to run, so Damian chases him. While Nightwing and Langstrom shoot the man-bats with antidote, Batman takes Talia into the Lazarus pit. He wants to save her. The Dark Knight low-key loves Talia, doesn't he? Anyway, while Batman saves Talia, Damian has a brutal fight with Deathstroke. A lot of blood is spilled, but in the end, Damian outsmarts Deathstroke. Deathstroke tells Damian to kill him, but Damian refuses. He's Robin now, and Robin doesn't kill. Let's go! Let's freaking go, baby! Batman and Talia catch up, and the three of them make an escape, while Deathstroke drowns. So long, jackass. Nightwing then saves them from being crushed, and it's over. The good guys won. After the battle, Talia thanks Batman for everything he's done, and tells him to join her. But even though Batman loves her, he refuses. So Talia tells Damon it's time to go, but Damian just wants to stay with his father. So Talia agrees, but says she'll be back for her son. And just like that, Batman has his new Robin, and Bruce Wayne has a son. This movie starts with a US submarine being attacked by what they call people, but judging by death and destruction they leave behind, those were no humans. Meanwhile, Cyborg has a dream about living a normal human life before he wakes up in the Justice League HQ. Oh, and he has a thing for this scientist named Sarah, but he doesn't do anything about it. Poor guy. That's when Steve Trevor shows up and tells him about the submarine that was attacked. Steve suggests bringing the Justice League, but Cyborg says that there is no Justice League. None of the members really ever show up. Damn. We then cut to a bar in Maine where a blonde man named Arthur Curry is drinking his sorrows away. He just buried his dad last week, and he's going through it. Arthur proceeds to get into a fight with some guys, and not only is he super strong, he's practically invincible. What the hell is this guy? Well, we don't know yet, but what we do know is he's being followed by two parties, two men in a car and a very attractive woman in some kind of suit. What's more, the woman jumps into the ocean after Arthur walks away. Meanwhile, Cyborg makes his way to the submarine and starts collecting data. When he gets attacked, it takes all his skills and tools to escape alive, and he boom tubes out of there. Oh yeah, he can just do that now. Cyborg calls a Justice League meeting, but only Flash and Shazam show up, so they decide to get the others manually. Flash gets Green Lantern, Cyborg and Shazam get Wonder Woman and Superman, who were on a date by the way, and Green Lantern gets Batman. They all start investigating and realize that they were attacked by mermaids? Well, not really. Wonder Woman describes the tale of Atlantis. It was an old kingdom that was submerged underwater, but thanks to the king's trident, everyone there turned into a sea creature forever, and not the fish kind of sea creatures, but more the breathe underwater kind of sea creatures. So yeah, technically mermaids. So Batman and Superman head over to interview with Dr. Shin, a man who has a lot of crazy theories about Atlantis. It's the same man who was spying on Arthur. Meanwhile, the others go look for Atlantis. We then cut to Atlantis? Holy smokes, it's real! There we see Prince Orm, swimming with Black Manta. Orm is a skeptical Atlantean who hates humans, and Black Manta is his advisor. He goes to see his mother, Queen Atlanna, who is guarded by Mera, the attractive woman who is spying on Arthur. Orm tries convincing Atlanna that humans are dangerous and that they need to be attacked, but Atlanna says she's all about peace, no violence under her watch, but she knows Orm isn't gonna listen. So she sends Mera to get her other son, who just happens to be Arthur. Oh, now his powers make sense. We then see Arthur have a dream about meeting his mom as a kid, before he wakes up. Meanwhile, we see what Black Manta is up to. He sends his soldiers to kill Arthur before disguising his ship as a submarine and attacking Atlantis. They're gonna blame humans now. Anyway, Dr. Shin meets Arthur, but is killed by Black Manta's men. They try to kill Arthur too, and he's cooked until Mera saves him. She then takes him back to the Queen. I think I'm in love with her. Anyway, while Black Manta leaves dozens dead in his attack, Superman and Batman investigate Dr. Shin. They learn about Arthur and how he's half Atlantean, and they realize he's in danger. Meanwhile, Orm successfully pins the attack on the humans and demands war, but Queen Atlanna disagrees. Instead, she says she's gonna broker peace with the Justice League. Man, she's a great ruler. Later, Arthur wakes up and Mera gives him the rundown. Atlanna fell in love with his dad when she was young, and they had Arthur, but Atlanna was royalty and promised to the king, so she had to leave. And now Atlanna needs Arthur to become the peace between their worlds, because he is from both worlds. But this is a lot for Arthur to process, and he decides he needs a breather, only to be attacked by sea monsters called Trenchers. Luckily, the Justice League shows up and helps Arthur and Mera defeat the Trenchers. After that, Arthur and Mera have a moment.
I could bandage it.
Sure. I mean, only if you want to.
Looks like I'm not the only one in love. Anyway, the Justice League convinces Arthur to take charge of Atlantis, and they all head over there. Speaking of Atlantis, Orm tells Atlanna that he knows about her bastard son. That's no way to talk about your big brother. Anyway, Queen Atlanna reveals that she knows Orm and Black Manta were the ones who attacked Atlantis, and she plans to punish them until Orm kills her and takes her trident. Oh no! Meanwhile, Shazam, Flash, and Batman stay on ground to keep an eye on things, while Superman, Cyborg, Wonder Woman, and Green Lantern join Mera and Arthur as they go to Atlantis. Unfortunately, Arthur goes there to see his mother is dead. That's when Orm steps out. He takes credit for the kill, calls Arthur a bastard, zaps him, Mera, and the other heroes, and has them fed to a big Cthulhu-looking monster. Luckily, that's when Arthur locks in. He frees Superman before using his powers to get a whale to save the others. Superman destroys the monster, and Arthur decides he's gonna take his kingdom back. With Mera, of course. Kings need their queens, know what I'm saying? Anyway, they all regroup, and Batman calls them back to the surface. Orm is about to begin his war on the humans. The Atlanteans would have destroyed the humans pretty easily, but the Justice League exists. They all show up and the fight begins. During the battle, Arthur is fighting Black Manta, who says the whole thing was his idea and that he's gonna kill Orm after this, and Arthur just makes a shark eat him before he can finish. See ya later, loser. Anyway, the fight rages on, and the League members try to beat Orm 1v1. But while Orm is a That trident is crazy. He takes down each member of the League before Arthur shows up. Arthur gives him a good fight, but once again, he has trident hacks. So after a small battle, Orm is standing over Arthur, ready to kill his half-brother. Luckily, Cyborg saw Orm confess to the killing of Queen Atlanta, so he plays that clip for all the Atlanteans to see. They turn on Orm, and it gives Arthur the opening to sucker punch his brother and take the trident. He then says that Atlantis needs a ruler who will bring peace and happiness, and says he'll take that responsibility. The Atlanteans accept and bow before their new king, and he kisses Mera. Finally! Later, Cyborg also asks Sarah out. Sweet. And the League then goes to Arthur's coronation ceremony. He agrees to be a part of the League, and they agree to have regular meetings. Arthur then swims off with Mera to fight some trenchers. Arthur Curry has finally become Aquaman. In a post-credits scene, we see Orm trapped in Belle Reve prison when he gets a visit from an all-too-familiar face, Jeff Bezos. I mean, Lex Luthor, you know, billionaire genius and Superman's arch nemesis. Oh boy. The following movie opens with Damian Wayne, aka Robin, driving the Batmobile. Yes, he's Batman's son. And yes, he's way too young to be driving a car. Robin makes his way over to the abandoned toy store, where he finds the Doll Maker, a villain that's been abducting children and turning them into monsters. The fight begins, and Batman shows up just in time to help. While Batman takes care of the kids, Robin chases down the Doll Maker and beats him. After catching the Doll Maker, Robin really wants to kill him. Assassin background, you know. But after training with Batman, Robin wants justice instead of vengeance, and refuses to kill him. Unfortunately, someone else does kill him. A guy in an owl-themed suit literally rips Doll Maker's heart out before leaving. Batman then shows up and thinks Damian did it, which really pisses Damian off. Robin then leaves, and Batman finds something, an owl feather in the Doll Maker's mouth. Some days later, Bruce Wayne is having dinner with the stunning Samantha Vaniver, a super rich socialite and Bruce's girlfriend. After dinner, Bruce shows her his plans to improve Gotham City. He wants to make it a safe place. Samantha then meets Damian before she has to leave for an important board meeting, and Damian likes her too. Anyway, Bruce then watches a movie with Damian, and it looks like everything is good between them, until he tries to sneak out later that night. Bruce catches him, and they get into an argument. You see, Bruce hasn't revealed to the world that he has a son yet. He's still working on the paperwork, and Damian is pissed about it. He's a very angry kid. A few days later, Damian apologizes to Bruce for trying to sneak out, and Bruce accepts. He then suits up and leaves, but he got Damian a babysitter. That babysitter is none other than Nightwing. Nightwing spars with Robin, and they trash talk each other the whole time. Classic sibling rivalry. Meanwhile, Batman investigates the owl feather he found, and it's flashback time. When Bruce was a kid, his parents told him a story about the Court of Owls, a secret society that runs Gotham in the shadows. When Bruce's parents were killed, he thought it was a Court of Owls that killed him, and he spent a long time looking for them, but he found nothing. Back then, he gave up on the court as just a story. Now, though, he knows they're real because they just sent 3 assassins after him. They're not regular assassins either. They're basically undead zombie killing machines. Batman might be a badass, but even he has a rough time with these bastards. He gets cut, stabbed, and it looks like he's cooked, until the talons just disintegrate. Phew. He sends out a distress signal and he passes out. Uh-oh. Meanwhile, Nightwing sees that Damian has escaped, and then he gets the distress signal. His peaceful night just went to shit. Meanwhile, Robin finds some thugs assaulting a couple, and he beats them senseless. That's when the owl suit guy from earlier shows up and tells him to kill the thugs. Instead, Damian follows the guy. Owl suit guy takes Damian to his hideout, where he tells Damian about himself. His name is Talon, and he's a vigilante just like them, but unlike them, he's willing to kill people. Note that the assassins sent after Batman look a lot like Talon. He asks Damian to join him and gives him a weapon and a communicator for if Damian agrees. Damian then heads back home where he gets into a big fight with Bruce. After that, Damian just suits up as Robin and leaves again, and he contacts Talon. Meanwhile, Bruce is driving over to meet Samantha for dinner when his car is surrounded by 4 other cars. Inside, he sees that the people have owl masks on their face, and it looks like they're trying to kill him. After a chase scene, the owls manage to crash Bruce's car. They then knock him out with an injection and put a bag over his face. Uh-oh. Bruce then wakes up in front of the Court of Owls. They're real, alright. There, he speaks with their leader, the Grand Master. The Grand Master tells Bruce how they used to rule Gotham from the shadows, ensuring that everything was peaceful, and now after a long break, they're back. They offer Bruce a spot in their party, and Bruce says he needs time to think about it, but not before putting a tracker on one of the masks. They give him some time to think, Inc. and return him to Wayne Manor. Meanwhile, we see the court's master plan to make more undead assassins and use them to take over Gotham. Talon is supposed to become an undead assassin too, but he's not too hot on the idea. Speaking of Talon, he and Robin attack a local criminal organization and corner their leader. Talon wants Robin to kill him, but Robin says they have enough evidence to put him away for life. He refuses to kill. He is Batman's son, you know. After that, Talon explains his backstory. He used to be a thief and he had a mentor, just like Robin does with Batman. But Talon's mentor was an asshole who used to beat him up, so Talon turned him over to the cops, and he joined the Court of Owls soon after. He tells Robin he has to choose between him and Batman, and that's when Batman shows up. Talon leaves and Batman tries following him, but Robin stops him. Batman tries to explain that Talon is just using him, but Robin isn't trying to hear that, and then they fight. The whole time, Batman is just trying to stop Robin, while Robin is trying to hurt Batman. This ends with Batman protecting Robin as they fall through a glass window, and he hurts himself in the process. Robin has the chance to kill Batman, and Batman tells him to do it, if that's what he really wants. And Robin doesn't kill him. Duh. But he doesn't go with Batman either. Instead, he returns to Talon's hideout. Man, this movie should be called Batman and the Court of Owls. Like, he only fights Robin for like 17 seconds. We then see Talon without his mask. Hello, handsome. In bed with someone. That someone turns out to be Samantha. But cheating on Bruce is only the second worst thing she's doing, because it turns out she's the Grand Master of the Court of Owls. Holy schmoly. Meanwhile, Batman tracks down the Court of Owls and he finds them. Unfortunately, they've hit him with some Scarecrow-style fear gas, and they trap him in some sort of maze thing. There, he sees a vision of the future where Damian turns into a mass murderer, and it's all his fault. Bruce then wakes up back in the Batcave. He's with Nightwing and Alfred, who tells him he needs to rest. But Bruce says he needs to save Damian. That's his son. You're damn right. Speaking of Damian, Talon presents him to the Court of Owls. The Grand Master, aka Samantha, asks him to remove the mask as proof of loyalty, so he does. Samantha then realizes that since Damian is Robin, Bruce Wayne is Batman. She orders Talon to kill Robin, but he refuses. Instead, Talon kills all the members of the court, and then kills Samantha too. Yeesh. He then puts Robin in a chamber before taking a lot of undead assassins with him. He's gonna kill Batman. Batman and Nightwing are waiting for the attack inside Wayne Manor, and they're an incredible team, but no matter how good they are, there's just too many enemies. Nightwing gets badly injured, so Batman locks him away for his safety, and that's when Talon shows up ready to kill Batman. Oh boy. Batman is too crafty though, and manages to make his way to the Batcave. Meanwhile, Damian escapes, and he learns something important about the zombie assassins. They can't survive in low temperatures. He contacts Alfred and tells him this. Meanwhile, the assassins show up in the Batcave, and Batman makes his way to the secret room. While Nightwing fights Talon, Batman gets to his robo-bat suit and absolutely pieces up the assassins. Alfred helps too with a shotgun, and they lower the temperature, freezing all the assassins. That's when Talon crashes the Batmobile into Batman's robot. Did he win? Oh, hell no. Batman breaks out of the robot, tears off his mask, and starts lighting up Talon. Unfortunately, he fights dirty and he stabs Batman. Talon's about to kill Batman when Damian steps in. Talon tries to recruit him, but Damian refuses. He's sticking with his father. Their fight begins, and Talon makes Robin kill him. No, seriously, he makes him do it.
No!
After that, Damian and Bruce make up, but Damian says he can't stay. There are too many voices in his head. He needs to go find his own. So Batman tells him about some monks in the mountains that helped him. Damian then hugs his dad and starts packing. In the aftermath of the battle, Bruce knows Damian will come back one day. He has faith in his son. And Damian, he's on his way to see the monks. The movie begins with a bunch of criminals interrogating another criminal. Criminal stuff, you know. That's when they're attacked by Batman, except Batman doesn't use guns. This is Kate Kane, aka Batwoman, and she's here to kick some evil ass. Unfortunately, Batman shows up almost immediately and totally steals her thunder. They begin fighting the crooks, and Batwoman kinda gets in Batman's way. After they're done with the villains, Batman asks one of them who they're working for. Lucky for him, the guy just shows up. His name is Heretic, and he's wearing a Batman-style mask too. He says Batman knows him intimately, but also doesn't know him at all. Okay, weirdo. They begin fighting, and once again, Batman needs to save Batwoman. Heretic then tells his sidekick Onyx to attack Batman before blowing up the entire place. Batman manages to throw Batwoman to safety, but it looks like the Caped Crusader is cooked. Ah, no. We then cut to Damian, who's living with the monks. Quite miserably, might I add. Anyway, he reads the news about Batman missing and decides it's time to head back to Gotham. Alfred calls in Nightwing too. They have a serious problem. Meanwhile, Alfred poses as Bruce for the board of Wayne Enterprises and pretends that he's away on some trip. Nightwing then shows up and Alfred fills him in. Batman's been gone for over 2 weeks with no message whatsoever. Damn. Meanwhile, we see one of Bruce's close allies at the company, Lucius Fox, talking to his son Luke Fox. Luke is an army man who will be important later. We then see Kate meeting her father, Colonel Kane, an old army vet who knows her daughter is Batwoman. He's like her Alfred. She tells him about Batman missing and says she's worried until the Batmobile whizzes past them. So Kate immediately leaves to check on Batman. Unfortunately, it's not Batman. It's Nightwing posing as Batman to keep the criminals of Gotham in check. Damian shows up too, and they take down Black Mask and his goons. They then leave, but realize they're being followed by Batwoman, so they confront her and she tells them about the night Batman went missing. What's more is she's certain he's dead. Shut up, okay? Just shut up. He can't be. Nightwing then looks up the files on Batwoman and realizes that he knows Kate. When they get her backstory, her mother and sister were both killed when she was young, and she's a crime fighter now. Classic origin story. Anyway, while Kate gets some info on Heretic from her dad, Luke meets Lucius at Wayne Enterprises, but their conversation is cut short when Heretic and his lackey show up. They hold Luke hostage and make Lucius let them into Batman's vault. There, they steal some codes, and then Heretic stabs Lucius. No! That's when Robin and Nightwing show up. The fight begins, and Heretic is a real badass. He's giving Nightwing the business. In the battle, Robin starts getting cooked by one of the villains. So Heretic kills the villain? Huh? They then escape, and Luke comes out holding Lucius. He needs an ambulance ASAP. We then see Bruce. He's in a bed surrounded by supermodels. Classic Bruce Wayne, but actually it's just a dream. One that turns into being a nightmare. We then see where Bruce actually is. He's trapped in some facility, having his mind broken by the Mad Hatter. Heretic's there too, and we see who's really behind all of this. Talia al Ghul. In case you forgot, she's Ra's al Ghul's daughter, Batman's former lover, and Damian's mother. Damn, I thought she wasn't evil. We then see Heretic telling Talia about Damian, and he says they should recruit him, but Talia disagrees. We then see Luke at the hospital, sitting by an unconscious Lucius. That's when Dick Grayson, aka Nightwing, shows up, and Luke loses it. He knows they're working with Batman, and he wants to help them, but Dick shuts it down. It's not his call to make. We then cut to Kate, who's hitting on a detective named Renee, and it's going well, until Nightwing tells her to come meet her. Horrible timing. There, Dick reveals his identity to Kate, as well as the fact that he knows who she is. Meanwhile, Robin is attacked by Heretic at the Batcave. He drugs Damian and fights him until he passes out. This is bad. While Nightwing convinces Batwoman to join him, Luke heads over to Lucius's vault and suits up. Oh yeah. Meanwhile, Damian wakes up in the same room as Bruce, and we realize what's going on. You see, Heretic is a clone of Damian. He was made by Talia, and they used science to accelerate his growth, but despite that, Heretic lacks Damian's memories. In other words, he lacks a soul. So he's gonna have Mad Hatter put Damian's memories in him. That way, he'll truly be alive. Who said superheroes are for kids? Yeesh. Anyway, Talia walks in, and she's not feeling this plan at all, so she just kills Heretic. As she says, she'll just make another one. She's cold-blooded. I think I'm in love with her. Anyway, Nightwing and Batwoman track Damian down and start fighting some katana and gun-wielding nuns. It's kinda metal if you ask me. Anyway, Luke shows up to help in his new suit, and he calls himself Batwing. Real original, dude. As they fight, Talia decides that they have to retreat, leaving Bruce and Damian alone. While Batwing and the others fight, Damian breaks free and he releases Bruce too. He carries Bruce to safety and Nightwing joins him. There's a big fight, lots of explosions, and it looks like Bruce, Nightwing, and Robin are cooked until Batwing saves them. But a week later, Bruce isn't interested in teaming up with them. He wants to keep it in the family and then leaves for an important conference he's attending. A lot of the world's leaders are going to be there. Meanwhile, Kate is talking to Nightwing on the phone. When her dad starts shooting at her, she dodges and Kate has to knock her dad out. What the heck is happening? We then cut to the conference Bruce is hosting, and the conference center starts flying in the air. Cool. What's not cool is what we find out next. Turns out Bruce is being mind controlled by Talia. She got to Kate's dad too, and with so many world leaders in the room, Talia's plan is to take control of them as well. When that happens, she'll have full control over the world. It's a genius plan. So Nightwing, Robin, Batwoman, and Batwing make their way there to stop Talia. They make it inside, and it's instantly fighting mode. Batwing is fighting Firefly, Robin takes on a walrus-looking motherfucker, Batwoman fights Talia, and Nightwing fights Batman. Suit and all. Damn. Outside, Batwing beats Firefly and accidentally blows one of the engines up, and the conference center starts crashing into buildings. That cannot be good. While the fights continue, Alfred shows us what a chat he is by stopping Mad Hatter's brainwashing and accidentally blowing his head off. Ouch. Anyway, the brainwashed Batman is beating the living daylights out of Nightwing, and he has him pinned down. Talia gives him a gun to shoot Nightwing with, but that's when Robin shows up. Together, their heartfelt words make Batman snap out of it, and he's back to normal. The rest of the heroes show up and corner Talia, so she jumps out of a window and escapes on a plane. Do you remember Onyx, Heretic's sidekick? Well, unfortunately for Talia, Onyx is hiding inside her plane, and she wants revenge for Heretic. They fight, and Talia's plane crashes. Good riddance. In the aftermath, we see Bruce accept Kate and Luke into the team. They're the Bat family now, and it looks like the Bat family is about to get a new addition soon. The movie starts with the Justice League, minus Green Lantern and Shazam, fighting the Legion of Doom. It's like the Justice League, but for villains. You have some notable people on the team, like Lex Luthor, and one of Wonder Woman's main villains, Cheetah, there, but the Justice League have it covered. Robin's there with Batman, but instead of fighting, he's doing crowd control, and he hates it. After all the villains are defeated, one of them tries to run, before he gets possessed by some sort of evil spirit. He breaks out of his handcuffs and starts flying. He even gets a big hit on Superman. Robin decides he's going to intervene, so he sends his jet and all of its missiles at the villain. The plan works and the spirit leaves his body, but Batman is not impressed. Because of Robin, they have no info on the spirit, and Batman decides it's time Robin learns some teamwork. So Batman has Robin dropped off at Titan's Tower. That's right, Robin's going to be a part of the Teen Titans. They're like the Justice League, but for teenagers. There we see the members of the group: the cheerful but troubled Jamie Reyes, aka Blue Beetle, shapeshifter extraordinaire Garfield Logan, also known as Beast Boy, and the dark and gloomy Raven, and she's just called Raven. And they're led by Coriander, aka Starfire, an alien princess who has both me and Nightwing moving like this.
I want a diamond ring, I want some bracelets and everything. Daddy, you better get the best for me. Hey, Daddy, when I look
Robin hops out of the car, but he's not interested in socializing with anybody. He heads straight inside. Meanwhile, we see Superman on the phone with Wonder Woman before he gets possessed by an evil spirit. Uh-oh. Meanwhile, Robin hogs the training room and is very rude to everyone, and this leads to a fight with Blue Beetle, and Robin beats the snot out of him before Beetle shoots a laser in his face. Was that really necessary? Luckily, Raven heals him up. She sees some disturbing visions and passes out, so Robin is okay now, but Raven isn't. That was very nice of Raven. I like her already. Meanwhile, Batman and Cyborg investigate the evil spirit from earlier and realize that it's an intelligent being, and Batman has a sneaking suspicion that it's coming for them. Meanwhile, Superman starts tweaking out on his date with Wonder Woman, and then he just runs away. Way to kill a girl's confidence, man. Back at Titan's Tower, Damian thanks Raven for healing him, and they talk. Damian says he didn't appreciate Raven being in his head, and that he saw some of her memories too, but Raven says they're just nightmares, and tells him to mind his own business and leaves. Back with Superman, he gets possessed by the evil spirit, and it's bad news. He beats some criminal within an inch of his life and is ready to fight Wonder Woman as well, until Batman pulls out some kryptonite. In case you didn't know, that's Superman's one weakness. Superman's face then transforms. He mumbles something about Trigon and then flies off. We will learn more about this Trigon soon. Meanwhile, Damian tries to get more info on Raven, so Starfire tells him Raven grew up in a different realm and it was basically hell. She escaped, has no parents, and is a good person. After that, Starfire talks to Dick and realizes her team needs a bonding exercise. Anyway, while Batman and Cyborg try to locate this possessed Superman, he's out in the desert lifting some ancient-looking circle out of the ground. You know, that can't be good at all. Meanwhile, Starfire takes the Titans to the amusement park for some mandatory fun.
Why is no one having a good time? I specifically requested it.
But as it turns out, they do have a good time. After some fun, Damien talks with Raven, and he says he doesn't want to be there. But Raven says that she's seen into his soul, and she knows he's a good person. They'd be cute together. After that, Damien gets into a dance contest with Beast Boy, and he's surprisingly winning. That's when Raven hears some possessed people tell her to go to a hill behind them, and she does. Why would she do that? There she comes face to face with Trigon. Kind of. You see, Trigon is trapped in another dimension, and he wants Raven to break him out. She refuses, of course, and we find out that Raven is actually Trigon's daughter. That's when Trigon's demons start attacking Raven, and she's seriously outnumbered. Luckily, she ends up back in the amusement park, and the Titans suit up to help her. They manage to take down the demons, but Starfire wants answers. So Raven takes them somewhere and starts talking. You see, Raven's mom used to be an idiot. She wound up in a cult, and the cult tried summoning Satan one day, but summoned something far worse, Trigon. Raven's mom decided to have relations with Trigon, only to find out that he's a world-conquering monster. After that, Raven's mom was saved by the people of Azarath, a peaceful dimension. There, Raven was born, but she wasn't happy. Being half human and half demon, Raven tried to find out about her dad, only to accidentally summon him. He proceeded to kill Raven's mom and destroy Azarath, which is where the Titans are standing now. Damn. Trigon then took Raven to his dimension, and it was basically just hell. Luckily, Raven managed to trap him inside a crystal, and then she came to Earth. After the story, they head back to Titan's Tower, and Raven wants to run, but Robin says they need to stick together. It's the only way to save her. That's when Cyborg, Flash, Batman, and Wonder Woman show up. They want to take Raven into custody, but before they can do that, they get possessed by Trigon's demons. Batman knocks himself out with a nerve toxin, so he's not possessed, but the others are, and they beat the brakes off the Titans. Raven is forced to surrender and leaves with the possessed Justice League, but not before Blue Beetle knocks Cyborg out and gets rid of his demon. Only Flash, Wonder Woman, and Superman left to go. I'm pretty sure it'll be real easy. The demons take Raven to the big circle. They're gonna summon Trigon. Raven tries reasoning with her dad, but you can't reason with the devil, and the ritual begins. Meanwhile, Cyborg wakes up and he's back to normal. Batman is still out of commission though, so the Titans and Cyborg are on their own. Luckily, Robin knows where Raven is, and he's got a plan. As Raven is being forced to summon Trigon, Cyborg and the Titans show up to stop it. Damien stabs Superman with a piece of kryptonite, and they fall to the ground. The demon leaves Superman's body, and he's back to normal. He then frees Flash by breaking his leg, and then he frees Wonder Woman by not breaking anything. I wonder which one of those two he's dating. Clearly not the Flash. Unfortunately, the summoning process is complete. Trigon is here, and there's no way to stop him in this world. So they come up with a plan. Wonder Woman, Flash, and Superman try to slow Trigon down, while the Titans and Cyborg go to Trigon's realm and get the crystal Raven trapped him in. After fighting some devious demons, Raven manages to make her way to the crystal, but the crystal suddenly shatters, and we see who broke it. It's Ra's al Ghul. What, wasn't he dead? Well, he is, kind of. It turns out the whole Lazarus Pit scheme was Trigon's doing, and good old Ra's is his minion. He asks Damien to join him and kill Raven, but Damien refuses. He's a Titan now, and begins fighting his grandfather. Meanwhile, Trigon gets in Raven's head and tries to make her give up on stopping him. The Justice League can't stop him. He's gonna destroy Earth. But as Damien delivers the final blow to Ra's, Raven locks in too. With the love of her friends pushing her, she grabs a piece of the crystal and starts the spell. Trigon tries to fight it, but it's useless. Raven successfully traps him in the crystal. Whew. After that, Raven says she'll stay here and guard the crystal, but Damien says screw that. She's one of them, and they're gonna go home together. So they do, and Raven finds a creative way to keep a check on Trigon. Put the crystal in her forehead. It looks cute too. Win-win situation if you ask me. The movie opens with a flashback to 5 years ago, and we see the original Teen Titans. Back then, Dick Grayson was still Robin, and he was the team's leader. Beast Boy was there too, and we had 3 other members. There's Green Arrow's sidekick Speedy, aka Roy Harper, the Flash's sidekick Kid Flash, aka Wally West, and Bumblebee, aka Karen Beecher. They're on their way through town when they see an explosion. Turns out a very attractive alien, Starfire, is fighting some very ugly aliens. So they help Starfire fight off those aliens. Afterwards, Starfire kisses Robin to learn English. I'm sure there were other reasons too, but let's just Yeah. And just like that, Starfire became a part of the Teen Titans. Back in the present, the Titans and Nightwing are sneaking their way into a hive facility full of bad guys. Luckily, the newest member of the Teen Titans can help with that. Her name is Terra. She has the power to control rocks, and she's a bit of a loner. Anyway, the Titans break in and start kicking ass. Seeing this, the leaders of Hive decide to make a run for it, and the Titans win. That's when Nightwing decides to pop the question. You see, he and Starfire had been dating for a while now, and now that he's got an apartment in the city, he wants Starfire to move in with him, and Starfire says yes. I love them as a couple. The next day, we see Beast Boy trying to flirt with Terra, and failing miserably. Ouch. It might not be his fault though. Terra just seems very antisocial, and Raven doesn't seem to like her. Meanwhile, Jamie, aka Blue Beetle, has a tough conversation with his parents. You see, the thing that gives Jamie his powers is a parasite, and it has a mind of its own. Because of that, Jamie can't live with his family. It's not safe, and he's really sad about it. Damn. Meanwhile, Dick is researching Brother Blood, the leader of both Hive and a worldwide cult. He's trying to find evidence of Brother Blood's evil shenanigans from the files they found at Hive, and it's taking some time. We then see Damien and Dick are getting along much better now. You know who's not having a good time though? Jamie. Meanwhile, we see Brother Blood on his island with his advisor Mayhem. Now, the thing about Brother Blood is, he's immortal. He's been alive for 900 or so years, and he gets this immortality by bathing in his enemy's blood. You know, the more I think about this, the more I see where his name comes from, actually. Anywho, Jamie is with his Beast Boy and Terra and decides he needs to do something good. So he signs up as a volunteer at a local shelter. This guy is just a class act, isn't he? Terra ditches them. Boo! And Beast Boy wonders what he's got to do to get her attention. How about you take a hint and move on? We then cut back to Brother Blood, who's using evil experiments to make super soldiers, because that's what every bad guy is trying to do these days. How about some originality, guys? Back at Titan's Tower, Dick is helping Starfire pack her things when the building starts shaking. Turns out it's Terra. She makes the building shake whenever she has a nightmare. Raven calms her down and everyone tries to be supportive, but Terra just pushes them away. She has a horrible attitude. Meanwhile, we see Brother Blood meet up with Deathstroke. The bastard is alive. Brother Blood is paying Deathstroke to capture the Titans, and he wants all of them by next week. Meanwhile, the Titans do some combat training, and it's going pretty well, till Terra freaks out. She has a flashback to some people treating her like garbage, and she almost kills Beast Boy. When the Titans stop her, Terra doesn't remember her rampage, and Robert is super suspicious now. While Starfire and Nightwing want to give her space, Robin doesn't trust Terra, so he follows her, and turns out he was right to be suspicious, because Terra is working with Deathstroke. She was a rat. Robin fights them, but he can't handle a 2v1, and Terra traps him using her rock powers. Man, I freaking hate her. While Jamie's getting along with a girl named Tracy at the shelter, Deathstroke is preparing to take down the Titans. That's when Terra walks in, and oh boy, this part is awkward. I'm not going to dwell on this for too long, so pay attention. You see, when Terra was a kid, people thought she was a witch because of her powers, and they tried to kill her. Deathstroke saved her life, and you'd think they'd have a nice relationship after that, but they don't. Deathstroke is actually using her by pretending they'll be together one day. Yeah, that's right, he's grooming her. Why did they choose to keep this in a movie? Anyway, we get a quick scene of Starfire moving in with Dick before the Titans throw Terra a surprise party. It's been a year since she joined the Titans, and Terra is actually moved by the party. After that, we see Dick find some info on Brother Blood, and the Titans head out. But Terra is showing Deathstroke the whole thing through her high-tech contact lenses. We also see that Deathstroke has Damien trapped in his lair. He plans to take his revenge nice and slow. Meanwhile, the Titans head over to yet another Hive hideout and start fighting some robots. After that, they're about to interrogate the man they caught until he gets shot. Still, they have his briefcase, which is full of pictures and information about the Titans. What the hell is Brother Blood up to? Later, Nightwing keeps trying to contact Damien while the other Titans are just worried. Terra is sitting by herself when Beast Boy shows up. He cheers her up, they talk some, and then they kiss. Beast Boy is over the moon, and Terra seems happy too, until Deathstroke reminds her what she's there for. I hate everything about this. The next day, everyone is having a normal day. Jamie is at the shelter, Beast Boy is going to be on a podcast, and Starfire is at home trying to make dinner.
The war warlords of Okara didn't teach me much about cooking.
She should stick to fighting. Dick goes to check in on Jamie, only to realize he's been kidnapped by Hive. Dick then goes to check on Beast Boy, but they got him too. He goes back home to see Starfire's been taken as well, and that's when he's attacked by Deathstroke. Dick doesn't have his weapons or his gear, and Deathstroke uses that to his advantage. He fights Dick across town, eventually leading to the beach, where he shoots Dick in the chest. Deathstroke then checks in with Terra, who ambushed Raven and knocked her out, and leaves. But Dick's alive. He used a piece of wood to block the bullet. Thank goodness. Back at Deathstroke's lair, Damian tries convincing Terra that she's being used, but she just won't listen. While Nightwing figures out that Terra betrayed him, Deathstroke brings the Titans to Brother Blood, and they're locked up in some machine, unable to use their powers. One small problem though, Deathstroke didn't bring Nightwing, so as compensation, he gives them Terra instead. That backstabbing bastard. The cult members lock Terra up in the machine too, and we see Brother Blood's plan. He's gonna steal the powers from all the Titans and transfer them to himself. Now that's pretty devious. The process begins and the Titans are screaming in pain. Luckily, that's when Nightwing shows up and blows up the machine. The Titans are freed, but Brother Blood still got their powers, and he's ready to kill them all. Nightwing and Robin start fighting Deathstroke, while the others fight Brother Blood. The bad guys are cooking though, and they have the upper hand, until Terra wakes up. She loses it and says she's gonna kill Deathstroke. She starts tearing the place apart, attacking Deathstroke and hitting Brother Blood along the way. The rest of the Titans manage to beat Brother Blood, and Raven takes away his powers. That's when Mayhem shoots Brother Blood. She refuses to let him get captured. Meanwhile, Terra thinks she's killed Deathstroke, and she begins to have a breakdown. Beast Boy tries to save her, but she pushes him away and brings the whole building down in a fit of rage. Damn. In the aftermath, Beast Boy goes on a podcast, and he talks about what it takes to be a Titan, as we see the rest of the Titans go back to their relatively happy lives. Jamie meets his family again, Starfire and Nightwing are happy, and Raven gets a dog. In the end, Beast Boy pays tribute to Terra, saying that, in the end, she died a hero. I don't really know about that one, but whatever helps you sleep at night, buddy. The movie starts with some bad guys in super high-tech suits kidnapping the mayor of Metropolis. Damn, they're ambitious. The cops can't stop them, but Superman can. He shows up, dismantles them pretty easily, and saves the day. He's so cool. After the fight, Superman chats with everyone around him. He's just a chill guy like that. He then calls in Flash and Cyborg for some help. You see, the villains somehow got their hands on a mother box, and Superman wants to know how, so Cyborg helps with that, while Flash helps with cleanup duty. After that, Superman gives Lois Lane, an investigative reporter with a big brains and beauty to match, an interview. Superman talks about his origins, the ship he got to Earth in, the whole shebang. Superman then drops Lois off at the Daily Planet, the newspaper she works for. We then see Lois run into Superman's human alter ego, Clark Kent, who also works for the Daily Planet. Turns out that Lois and Clark are dating. Yeah, they kinda just made Superman and Wonder Woman break up off screen. What's more is Lois is gonna meet Clark's parents this weekend, which is gonna be awkward because Clark hasn't told Lois he's Superman yet. You'd think an investigative reporter would figure it out by now, but clearly not. We then cut to Star Labs, where Silas Stone is investigating the mother box Superman found. Turns out it's been modified with human technology, and Superman knows exactly who to blame: the billionaire tech genius and Superman's worst enemy, Lex Luthor. Superman goes to talk to Lex, who's under house arrest right now, but Superman knows Lex was behind this. He just can't prove it yet. Anyway, while Lois gets dating advice from a colleague at the Daily Planet, a bunch of astronauts are up in space fixing a satellite, when an asteroid pops out of a boom tube somewhere above them. Meanwhile, we see Lex is not exactly complying with his house arrest. He's in his lab surrounded by scientists, and his goal is simple: to stop all superheroes. Why? Because he doesn't trust them, that's why. Lex watches on the screen as an asteroid makes its way towards the astronauts. It kills them, before making its way to Earth and landing in the ocean. Yeesh. We then cut to Superman and Wonder Woman training. After that, they acknowledge their ended relationship, and it looks like they're on good terms. Still, Wonder Woman criticizes him for not revealing his identity to Lois. Meanwhile, Lex sends some men to check out the asteroid. There they run into some Atlanteans, who are also there to investigate. But it turns out there was something inside the asteroid, and it bursts out, kills the Atlanteans, and then kills Lex's men. But Lex is excited. He may have finally found something that could challenge Superman. Meanwhile, the Justice League have a meeting, and Flash does a sick Batman impression.
I'm Batman. We need more chaperones for homecoming. Who has to be convinced to sign up?
After that, Flash reveals he's getting married to Iris, and Superman asks him if she knows he's a superhero. Flash says he told her a long time ago, and that's what relationships are about, trust. Flash may be the funny guy, but he's also super sweet. After that, Lois meets Clark's parents, and it goes really well. Kind of. Lois can't shake the feeling that Clark is hiding something, and it's making her worried. She leaves for home pretty upset, and their relationship is in jeopardy. While Aquaman tries to track down the creature that killed his soldiers, Clark's mom tells him to share his secret with Lois. He deserves a chance to be himself with someone. This is what great parenting looks like. Anyway, while the creature goes on a killing spree that night, Lois goes to work the next day, and she's upset, but Clark says they should meet for lunch. He has to tell her something. Looks like it's gonna be secret sharing time. Meanwhile, the Justice League have located the creature, and it's wreaking havoc all over the town. That's when Batman, Green Lantern, Flash, and Hawkman show up. But this monster is tough. It knocks out Hawkman, and Flash has to stop it from killing Green Lantern, who is out cold. Yeesh. Flash puts up a good fight, but he gets totaled too. So Batman distracts the creature and calls in backup. Also, in case you were wondering, its name is Doomsday. Not ominous at all. We then cut to Lex, who's meeting with a scientist named Dabney Donovan. Dabney is working on creature super soldiers for Lex, which is just a supervillain cliche at this point. And it's not going too well, except for one prototype. More on that later though. For now, we cut to Lois and Clark at lunch. And wouldn't you know it, Clark reveals that he is Superman. It instantly makes sense to Lois, the disappearing, never seeing them together, all that. He then gets word about Doomsday and he leaves, but not before writing a note saying, "I love you," to Lois. Aw, that's super sweet. While Lois makes her way there on a helicopter to cover the story along with the Daily Planet photographer Jimmy Olsen, the Justice League is getting cooked. Cyborg, Aquaman, Batman, Martian Manhunter, they all catch Doomsday's hands. Wonder Woman steps up to fight the monster like she's a total badass, but even after taking Wonder Woman's best shots, Doomsday just gets back up. He proceeds to beat Wonder Woman to a bloody pulp and is about to kill her until Superman shows up. He saves her and starts his fight with Doomsday, and it's clear this monster has what it takes to beat Superman. It makes the Man of Steel bleed. While Lex prepares himself in case Superman dies, Superman's fight with Doomsday takes him to a large bridge. There, Superman juggles saving civilians and fighting Doomsday. His job is not easy. Still, despite fighting the most powerful monster he's ever faced, Superman finds the time to save a kid, and give him a hug too.
Get back to your mom, son. Everything's going to be okay.
Take a long, hard look at this, Zack Snyder. This is what Superman is all about. Anyway, Superman gets back to fighting Doomsday and he's getting tossed all over the place. Jimmy Olsen and Lois follow the fight from their helicopter and they agree it's not looking good for Superman. Doomsday then tosses Superman into Lois and Jimmy's helicopter and it starts to spiral. Superman saves them though, and he has a sweet moment with Lois. Lois says he can't fight that thing again, but Superman says he has to. And with that, the fight's back on. Doomsday is seriously whooping him though, and it's looking bad, until Lex Luthor shows up. He's in a fancy robot, and he fights Doomsday for a bit, but ends up getting defeated pretty easily. Superman saves his life though, because even a villain's life is worth saving to him. Again, Zack Snyder, take some damn notes. Anyway, Superman and Doomsday throw down again, but while Superman gets some good hits in, Doomsday beats him to within an inch of his life. That's when Lois shows up and throws a rock at Doomsday. She tells Superman that she got his note, and says, "I love you too," as Doomsday is about to kill her. Of course, Superman isn't letting that happen. He zooms forward and breaks Doomsday's neck in one final attack, killing the beast. Unfortunately, he gets brutally stabbed by Doomsday in the process. Lois takes him in her arms, and Superman's happy he saved everyone. It's all he's ever wanted, besides Lois, of course. He then says he was a lucky man, and dies in her arms. Tragic. Lois and Jimmy cry as the Justice League shows up and realizes what's happened. Earth just lost its greatest champion, and they lost a friend. Give me a minute. I need to process this. In the aftermath of the battle, the world mourns the death of Superman. A few days later, a memorial service is held, where all the Justice League shows up, except for Batman. He's at home with Damian. He hates funerals. Understandable. Anyway, Metropolis unveils a monument to Superman, and he's buried there. Later, Lois meets Superman's parents, this time full of grief. Meanwhile, Lex tries to convince Star Labs to let him study Doomsday's corpse, but they say no. That's when the building starts shaking. The ship that Superman Superman came to Earth and breaks out of the building on its own and flies away. Later, Lois is being consoled by a friend who thinks Clark is just missing when Jimmy says that she needs to come with him now. They go to Superman's memorial where they see the coffin. It's empty. Above them, they see a shadow figure fly away. Was that Superman? The following movie opens 6 months after Superman's death, at the hands of Doomsday. We see a man named G. Gordon Godfrey on the Daily Planet TV show, and he's talking about Supermen. Not man, men. You see, ever since Superman left, there have been multiple people all around Metropolis who have started fighting crime, all of them wearing Superman's famous logo in one way or another. But G. Gordon Godfrey is super skeptical. Who are these people? Where did they come from? And what's their place in a world without Superman? Well, let's find out. We then see that life is moving on at the Daily Planet, for everyone except Lois. The poor girl is packing her things up. It looks like she's moving away from Metropolis. Clark's parents then come to visit her and they talk for a bit. Lois then realizes that with Clark's body missing, she needs to find out more about these Supermen. So she asks Wonder Woman if she knows anything about them. She doesn't, but the two do end up developing a nice friendship, which is pretty cool. Later, Lois attends an event hosted by Lex Luthor, and surprise, surprise, he's funding one of the Supermen. He's not a man though, he's more of a kid, and he's a total diva. Bro's moving like this. Lois decides to do some investigating, and she rizzes up Dabney Donovan to get some info out of him. And that's when she finds out that Lex's Superman is a clone of the real Superman made from his DNA. That has to be illegal. That's when the ground starts shaking and they go outside to see that another Superman has come after Lex Luthor. This is gonna get confusing really quick, so let's name them. We'll call Lex's Superman Superboy. We'll call this angry Superman Supervisor. And we'll call this robot super guy Man of Steel, and we'll call the cyborg one Cyborg Superman. Okay. Got it? Cool. Now, Supervisor wants to destroy Lex because he's evil, but Superboy isn't gonna let that happen. Unfortunately, Superboy gets his ass whooped by Supervisor, and he's about to kill him, until Man of Steel saves him. Man of Steel fights him for a bit before Cyborg Superman shows up, and he fights with Supervisor, and after they destroy the place, Supervisor leaves. That wasn't very heroic. After the battle, Lois runs to Dr. John Irons, a man who used to work at Star Labs. He'll be important soon. Meanwhile, we see Supervisor in the Fortress of Solitude, which is supposed to be Superman's hideout. He's recharging for his next battle. Spooky. Meanwhile, Cyborg Superman goes to visit Lois, and he claims to be the real Superman, revived as a cyborg. He says he's lost some of his memories. Convenient. And then he tells her to have faith in him. Even if she doesn't believe he's the real Superman, she should tell the people he's there to do some good. After that, we get a montage of the Supermen fighting crime all over the place, and Lex is not happy with Superboy. He wants Superboy to be the one and only Superman, but that's not happening right now. So he gets Superboy a gig, protecting the president with the Justice League, and they love him.
I have the shot.
I say take it.
Anyway, the president is giving her speech when suddenly a boom tube opens above them. The Justice League and Superboy fight the parademons that come flying out while Cyborg Superman is just standing there aura farming. While the Justice League and Superboy give it their all, Cyborg Superman waits until the president is in danger, and then he steps in and saves her. That's so pick-me-coded. Anyway, after the parademons are done for, the boom tube starts collapsing, and it falls right on top of the Justice League. When the dust clears, they're nowhere to be seen. This is bad news. In the aftermath of the battle, everyone thinks the Justice League is dead. Not only that, but they also believe Cyborg Superman is the real Superman now. This pisses Lex off, and he thinks about killing Superboy, but decides against it. After all, Superboy doesn't just have Superman's DNA, he has Lex's DNA too. Bombshell. Also, Lex was so into Superman that he literally made a baby with him after he died. Now that's true love if I've ever seen it. Unfortunately, it turns out that not only is Cyborg Superman not real, he's actually working for Darkseid. Oh my hell. Lois then sneaks into the Man of Steel's hideout, and we learn that he's actually Dr. John Irons. Anyway, together they deduce that this Cyborg Superman is actually the dead astronaut. You know, the one from the previous movie? And their suspicion is confirmed when, the next day at the Justice League's memorial, Cyborg Superman starts handing out superpowered tech to civilians like it's candy. So Lois and John decide to investigate. Meanwhile, it looks like the people Cyborg Superman is giving powers to are actually just doing good. Until we realize that the tech has turned them into mindless slaves that just do what they're told. Oh boy. Anyway, Man of Steel gets a lead on Supervisor. Lois goes to talk with Superboy. He's upset by the fact that Lex is his dad, and about the fact that he couldn't replace Superman. He's just a kid, man. This is heartbreaking. Anyway, Man of Steel makes it over to the Fortress of Solitude, where he sees Supervisor resting. That's when he wakes up, and they immediately start fighting. Man of Steel calls Lois, and he shows her the whole thing. Lex shows up and broadcasts the fight on a bigger screen, and they see Man of Steel get his ass whooped. So despite Lex telling him not to, Superboy heads to the Fortress of Solitude to help John. He's a good kid. We then get a quick cut to where the Justice League is. They're stuck in space, and Cyborg can't boom tube them out. Unless someone comes for them, they're pretty screwed. Anyway, Supervisor is about to kill John when the spaceship behind them opens, and out steps the real Superman. He's alive. Turns out, Supervisor is a holographic hero created to protect Superman. I'd say it was pretty effective. After that, Superboy shows up too, and they give Superman the rundown. They decide to head over to Metropolis and stop Cyborg Superman. One small problem with that though, Superman doesn't have his powers anymore. Oh boy. Still, he gets his rocket and joins Man of Steel and Superboy. Meanwhile, Lois and Lex devise a plan to bring the Justice League back, but it'll require Lois to confront Cyborg Superman, who's inside the Justice League's watchtower. So she does, and he immediately grabs her throat to kill her. This was a horrible idea. That's when the computer starts flashing behind them and they see that the real Superman is on his way towards them. Darkseid immediately forces Cyborg Superman to open a boom tube for him, and he does. By using the humans he gave powers as machines. Talk about body horror. Yeesh. Anyway, Darkseid and his entire army are ready to make their way to Earth when Lois has an idea. She literally starts rage baiting Cyborg Superman, saying he won't ever get revenge on Superman if Darkseid is here. So Cyborg Superman shuts down the boom tube, stopping Darkseid from coming to Earth. Now you might ask, why does the astronaut want revenge from Superman? Well, he kinda sorta blames his wife's death on Superman, because apparently Superman was supposed to instantly come save them in space. What a perfectly normal and reasonable thing to say. Anyway, Superman then shows up and he has a lovely moment with Lois before Cyborg Superman starts fighting him. Superman has some of his power back by now, but it's nowhere near enough. Cyborg Superman is mopping the floor with him. Meanwhile, Superboy and Man of Steel protect Lex while he tries to bring the Justice League back. And his plan works. He opens a boom tube and the Justice League hop out of it. They start fighting Cyborg Superman's soldiers, protecting the city. Meanwhile, Cyborg Superman launches the Watchtower into space, stopping the Justice League from interfering. He continues fighting Superman, so Lois decides to lock in. She fights back with a laser gun and manages to open the sun shields, letting the sunlight in, and that gives Superman his powers back. Superman then stabs Cyborg Superman with a crystal from the Fortress of Solitude, using Supervisor to erase Darkseid's programming and putting the man to rest. After that, you'll already know what comes next, an iconic kiss between two iconic lovers. Power couple right there. It's not all happy news though. The people that Cyborg Superman gave powers to unfortunately die in the process. They just wanted to help. In the aftermath, everything settles in. Superman is back, Clark is back working at the Daily Planet, and Superboy has taken the name Connor and is living with Superman's parents. Lois and Clark, meanwhile, sit down for a long overdue date, only to get called in by the Justice League. But Lois understands. She'll wait for him. So he suits up, and he heads out to help humanity once again, because that's what Superman does. The movie begins with Bruce attending a rich people party, but he's not thrilled to be there. He'd rather be out saving Gotham, but Nightwing has it covered, and he tells Bruce to take the night off. That's when Bruce sees his on-again, off-again love interest, Selina Kyle, aka Catwoman, and he decides that maybe he will take the night off. Ah, Bruce, you sly dog. Anyway, Bruce then runs into Thomas Elliot, a world-renowned brain surgeon and close childhood friend. Unfortunately, Bane has kidnapped a kid named Edward Dupree, so Bruce has to ditch Selina and find Thomas and save the kid. So Batman goes there, whoops Bane's ass, and frees the kid. There he meets Lady Shiva, a member of the League of Shadows who is known as the greatest hand-to-hand fighter in the world. Rumor has it, she's the only one Batman has ever lost a 1v1 to. Anyway, Lady Shiva asks Batman if he knows anything about a recent break-in at the Lazarus Pit. And Batman doesn't, though. She tells Batman to tell her if he finds something, and leaves. And that's when Batman realizes Catwoman stole the ransom money for the kid, and so he chases her down. This is kind of their way of flirting with each other, and it's going real well, until someone shoots Batman's zipline, making him fall from a very long height. We then see the man responsible. His face is covered in bandages, and his name is Hush. After his fall, Batman is out cold, and some thugs want to end him. Lucky for him, Catwoman fights them off before Barbara Gordon, aka Batgirl, shows up. She's Commissioner Gordon's daughter, and she's a sweet, sensitive badass. She thinks Catwoman is working with Bane, so Catwoman just tells her to take care of Batman and goes away. Meanwhile, we see that Catwoman is being mind-controlled by Poison Ivy, a plant-controlling baddie. She takes the money from Catwoman and sends her away, before we see that Poison Ivy is actually working with Hush, and he has a new job for her. Meanwhile, Bruce is in bad shape. He has a really bad head injury, so Alfred sets him up for surgery with Thomas Elliot. The surgery is a success, of course, and Batman promises to spend more time with Thomas. He really should have friends outside of work, you know. Sometime later, Bruce suits up to interrogate Bane, but he breaks out of Arkham and goes after Catwoman. Batman stops him with Amanda Waller's help, and he asks Catwoman where Ivy is. Catwoman is all for telling him and helping him out, but she wants something in return, and judging by Batman's reaction, he wants it too. Even the big bad bat deserves some love. After that, Batman and Catwoman start hunting leads, and find out that Poison Ivy is in Metropolis. So Bruce Wayne goes there in an official capacity, and he even gives Lois Lane an interview. Later that night, Batman asks Luthor for some info, and he uses it to find Ivy. Unfortunately, Ivy doesn't fall for Catwoman's trick, and she has some help. She's mind-controlling Superman. Oh boy. Batman and Catwoman narrowly escape into the sewers, and Batman comes up with a plan, so Catwoman leaves, while Batman stays and fights Superman with kryptonite knuckle dusters. That is badass. But this is Superman, so he overpowers Batman and it's about to end him, until Catwoman tosses Lois off a building. Superman snaps back to his senses and the three of them go and take down Ivy. Cool stuff. After that, they interrogate Ivy and she tells them about Hush. Only problem is, she doesn't know anything about him. After that, Superman takes Ivy to prison, and Batman and Catwoman kiss again, while Hush washes them, of course. Oh boy, what a cuck. Later, Bruce Wayne decides to take Selina Kyle on a date. Dick approves of it, Damian doesn't, but Bruce goes all the same. Meanwhile, Hush goes to Harley Quinn, Joker's psychotic clown girlfriend. Hush has kidnapped Joker and will only free him if Harley does something for him. He needs her to kill Bruce Wayne. Speaking of Bruce, he and Selina are double dating with Thomas and his wife at the opera. When Harley shows up and starts shooting, Bruce escapes while Thomas takes the ladies to safety. Selina shows up as Catwoman and fights Harley, while Batman shows up shortly after. Batman then chases Harley outside, only to find a horrific scene. Thomas has been shot dead, and the Joker is standing above him with a gun. No! Joker swears he's innocent, but Batman doesn't believe him, and he whoops the Joker's ass. He beats Joker until he's black and blue, and he starts strangling him. He'd have killed him too, but Jim Gordon shows up and convinces Batman to stop. Sheesh. Batman leaves, and Jim takes Joker to jail. The next day, Bruce attends Thomas's funeral, and he's heartbroken. Luckily, he has Selina to help him through it. Later at the Batcave, Bruce tells Nightwing that Joker actually didn't kill Thomas. It was Hush. That means Hush has to know Batman's secret identity. There's no other reason he'd have killed Thomas. That's when they see Riddler causing some mayhem. So they go to stop him, and that's when Batman sees Hush and tries following him. But Hush escapes, telling Batman that none of his loved ones are safe. After that, Batman goes to Selina and reveals his secret identity, and they finally get together, for real this time. After that, they decide to team up for real too. Batman takes Selina to the Batcave, where she meets Nightwing and Alfred. After that, we get a cute montage of them dating and fighting crime together. Some time passes, and there's no sign of Hush. Selina says they should take a vacation, and Batman's down for it, but only after they catch Hush. That's when Jim Gordon calls Batman. There's been a break-in at Thomas Elliot's office, so Batman goes with Jim and investigates. They find some clues and decide to visit Arkham Asylum. Meanwhile, Catwoman joins Nightwing on patrol, and they get an alert about something happening at a graveyard. There, they see that Thomas's grave has been dug up, and that's when they're attacked attacked by Scarecrow. He uses his fear gas on Nightwing, and he starts freaking out, but Selina handles Scarecrow and sends Nightwing back to the Batcave before she's knocked out cold. When she wakes up, she's trapped by some chains, and of course Hush is behind the whole thing. Meanwhile, Batman and Gordon visit the Riddler in jail, and they find out what's going on. You see, Hush is actually the Riddler? Huh? Let me explain. You see, Riddler got diagnosed with a severe brain disorder, and he tries getting Thomas to fix it, but when he failed, Riddler decided to take a dip in the Lazarus Pit, and he not only healed his brain, but figured out who Batman was. So he developed a new identity and started manipulating all of Batman's villains to do his bidding. So who the hell is the Riddler in front of them? Well, it's the shape-shifting Clayface, of course. After defeating him, Batman rushes over to where Hush has Selina tied up. There, Batman sees Hush using Elliot's dead body to get into Batman's head. What a sicko. But he keeps making his way inside. Meanwhile, Hush is about to kill Selina, but she buys herself some time, enough for Batman to save her. She's not out of trouble yet, though, and Batman starts fighting Hush. They talk back and forth as they exchange punches while Selina tries to free herself. Batman lets Hush know that no matter how much he changes, he'll always be the worthless C-list villain that nobody respects. Ouch. They keep fighting, and Hush accidentally makes the factory they're in start exploding. Selina eventually frees herself and stops Hush from delivering a killing blow to Batman. I'm sure he would have dodged that anyway. They then team up and whoop his ass, and he falls off a ledge and into a huge fire, but Batman saves him. He tries pulling Hush up, but the factory is exploding, so Selina cuts the line, sending Hush to his death. Together, she and Batman escape the warehouse, and it's over, but Batman isn't happy. He says that Hush didn't have to die. Selina says he's insane. Hush killed Thomas and tried to kill her, and Nightwing, but Batman says if someone can be saved, he has to try. He just has to. Selina then realizes that he can't change, not yet at least, and he can't let go of his code. They can never be together, so she touches Batman's face, says goodbye, and leaves. The big bad bat might deserve love, but we don't always get what we deserve. The final movie in the DCAMU opens with John Constantine in bed with Zatanna. John is a wicked magician that deals with all sorts of disturbing supernatural stuff. He's got a quick mind and an even quicker mouth. Meanwhile, Zatanna is also a magician, though far more elegant and kind than John. Still, they get along just fine. They're in their room in the Justice League's watchtower when they're summoned to the meeting room, along with their other League members and the Teen Titans. There, Superman gives it to them straight. Darkseid is planning an attack on Earth, so they're gonna have to invade his home planet of Apokolips and attack him before he gets the chance. Unfortunately, Darkseid sees their entire plan through Cyborg. After all, he was made by Apokolips tech, which means that when the League goes to attack Apokolips, he already has his monsters waiting for them. What a terrible start to the movie. We then cut to Earth 2 years later, and I'm sorry to report this, but it looks like Darkseid won. Everything's been destroyed and there are no humans in sight. Luckily, Constantine is alive, but he's not happy about it. He's in a bar with his friend, a demon named Etrigan. They're quite literally drinking away their sorrows at the end of the world when they get two visitors. It's Raven and Superman. Though there's nothing super about him anymore, he's lost his powers. They're here to ask Constantine for help, but he's not interested. Until some parademons attack them. Raven tries to help, but Trigon's influence stops her. So Constantine and Etrigan save them. Constantine then takes them to his hideout, and we learn what happened 2 years ago. Basically, Darkseid was ready for the Justice League's attack. He made a bunch of half parademon, half doomsday monsters called Paradooms. And the Justice League didn't stand a chance. A lot of them died, but he let some of them live, including Superman, who he injected with liquid kryptonite so he could never use his powers again. Talk about evil. And how did John survive? Well, he saw Zatanna get cornered by Paradooms in front of him, but instead of saving her, he ran away. Jeez, that's rough. Now though, Raven and Superman have a plan. All they need from Constantine is a locator spell. Constantine agrees to help and heads out to get some supplies. Meanwhile, we see a machine travel from Apokolips to Earth, and it starts shooting a laser into it. Nefarious evil villain shenanigans. We then see Darkseid talking to Batman. What? Turns out he turned Batman into a mind control slave, and he's using his genius to conquer Earth more efficiently. I think I'm gonna cry. Anyway, we then see Superman contacting Lois before the signal gives out. Constantine returns with the spell and asks who they want to find. The answer? Damian Wayne. Constantine finds his location and Raven teleports them there. Meanwhile, we see that Lex Luthor is also alive, somehow, and also working for Darkseid. What a scumbag. Batman gives him his orders, and Lex doesn't look too happy about this arrangement. Meanwhile, Raven and the others make it to the League of Shadows hideout. There, after some fighting, Damian shows up. and takes them all in. We then get a glimpse of Raven struggling to keep Trigon trapped in her crystal before Damian wakes her up, and you can tell he's in love with Raven. He then takes Raven and Superman on a trip down memory lane. Damian basically blames Superman for everything. After all, it was his idea to attack Apocalypse. We then see the Teen Titans dying in a flashback before we see Nightwing get killed in front of Damian. Damian tried to bring him back with a Lazarus pit, but it turned Nightwing into a mindless zombie. Rest in peace to Dick Grayson. You were the best of them all. Superman takes responsibility and says they have a plan, but for it to work, they need Damian to get through to Batman. He's the only one who can break him out of Darkseid's programming. Damian agrees, so they head over to meet Lois Lane. Well, she's at Stryker's Island. It used to be a maximum security prison, but now it's a base for the Suicide Squad. They used to be bad guys, but at the end of the world, they've all turned into anti-heroes. Lois convinces them to help her save the world by beating their leader Harley Quinn in a boxing match. How civil. It works though. Lois wins and the Suicide Squad will help the heroes save Earth. Meanwhile, Damian catches up with Raven. After the whole debacle on Apocalypse, Damian asks her to come lead the Shadows with him, but she refused, and she tried ending herself, but Superman stopped her. They've been working together since then. Damian then admits he had feelings for her, and Raven says the only reason she didn't join him is because Trigon wants to kill him. Looks like their feelings are still there. After that, Lois explains her plan. Remember, the machine that came from Apocalypse earlier? Well, there are 3 more of those, and they're destroying Earth's core. The plan is simple. First, they destroy those machines, and then the Paradooms will abandon Apocalypse and come stop them. Then, they sneak into Apocalypse from a boom tube in Lex Luthor's building. Finally, they send the Paradooms back, blow up Apocalypse, and then come back to Earth. I take that back. It's not simple at all, actually. It's actually really difficult and really complex. And yet, with a little help from the Suicide Squad and Constantine, they manage to attack all 3 machines, and the Paradooms come to Earth. With that, the good guys make their way into Lex's building, shooting down all of his soldiers. Yeah, that no-killing ship sailed a long time ago. Meanwhile, the heroes make their way to Lex, who tries to fight back a bit before revealing that he's secretly feeding Lois info the entire time. I believe him. He then helps everyone gear up for the Battle of Apocalypse, including giving Superman a battle suit and Damian a kryptonite sword. That's cool. While countless of Earth's heroes die trying to destroy Darkseid's machines, Raven tells Constantine he needs to kill her if Trigon escapes. It's the only way to control him. Constantine agrees, and then the heroes head over to Apocalypse. Meanwhile, Darkseid is on OA, the Green Lantern's home base planet, and he's destroying and killing everyone. Batman has figured out Lex Luthor is a traitor, and he gives the scoop to Darkseid. So Darkseid kills the last Green Lantern, and then goes back to Apocalypse. Oh boy. Meanwhile, the heroes find something horrifying on Apocalypse. Their old friends have been turned into weapons. Mira, Martian Manhunter, Hawkman, Starfire, and the Wonder Woman all turned into mindless killing machines. The fight between them begins, and the heroes do their best to break the heroes out of their trance, but they can't. While the fight goes on, Etrigan challenges Wonder Woman, and it's a good battle, but she kills him. Rest in peace, dude. Luckily, Constantine uses her own lasso of truth against her and frees her mind from Darkseid's control. She then holds off the other mind-controlled heroes, while our heroes make their way inside. Meanwhile, back on Earth, Lois, Lex, and the Suicide Squad gear up to fight the incoming Paradooms. For once, the name Suicide Squad is gonna be pretty accurate. Back on Apocalypse, the heroes make their way inside to blow up the planet's power source. One problem with that though, the planet's power source is the Flash. What the hell is wrong with Darkseid? Superman frees his friend, and Constantine goes through his mind. He learns about the Flashpoint, and how none of this would have happened if Barry hadn't gone back to save his mom. Damn. But they can't give up just yet, so while Wonder Woman fights the corrupted heroes outside, and the Suicide Squad fight the Paradooms, our heroes make their way into Darkseid's lair. There they find Cyborg embedded into the wall. Constantine frees his mind, which frees all the other corrupted heroes too. But Cyborg says he can't save him. He's too far gone. He's about to tell him how to destroy Apocalypse when Batman shows up with Darkseid. Oh no. Darkseid takes the throne and tells Batman to kill them. So, Batman's chair fights the others, while Batman fights Damian, and we just see how far Batman outclasses Robin when he's not holding back. He thoroughly beats Damian and is about to kill him, but the sight of his son reminds him of himself as a child, and he gets rid of Darkseid's programming. He chucks the sword into Darkseid's eye, which was a bad idea. Darkseid tries to hit him with his Omega beams, but Damian jumps out in front of him, sacrificing himself. No! Seeing Robin die was Raven's last straw, Trigon breaks free and he's about to take control of her. Constantine decides to not kill her and tries to strike a deal with Trigon instead. Trigon possesses Superman's body, kills Constantine, and starts fighting Darkseid. Rest in peace, John. You didn't run this time. Meanwhile, Batman holds Damian's burned body in his arms. Damian thanks Batman for giving him a home and teaching him a better way to live his life. He's eternally grateful for that. With his last words, Damian reminds Batman of the same words Batman taught him all those years ago. Justice, not vengeance. And then Robin dies in Batman's arms, and Batman sheds a single tear for his son. Okay. Excuse me a minute while I go cry in the corner for a week. Meanwhile, Lois and the Suicide Squad have reached their limit, so Cyborg broadcasts Lois' last goodbye to the possessed Superman, and then she dies too. Damn it, movie, just let me breathe. Seeing this, Superman is overcome with grief, and he pushes Trigon out of him. Darkseid traps Trigon, but he has other problems, because Superman is back to his best. Go get him, Boy Scout. Superman starts pummeling Darkseid, taking out all of his anger and frustration on the evil bastard, and it's glorious. Meanwhile, Constantine is in heaven with Zatanna. How the hell did he end up there? Turns out Constantine didn't run away all those years ago. Zatanna made him do it with magic. It was one of Batman's classic backup plans. Constantine wants to stay with Zatanna, but she says he has to help his friends. It's his destiny. Meanwhile, with the power of magic, love, and plot convenience, Raven brings Damian back to life and upgrades her fit too. Guess I overreacted a little bit with his death earlier. My bad. While Batman and Damian share a hug, Cyborg tells them the plan. He'll boom tube the Paradooms back to Apokolips, and then boom tube Apokolips into nothingness. Batman says they're not leaving Superman behind, but Darkseid needs to be distracted for the plan to work. So Raven and Constantine come up with a better distraction. They free Trigon in his true form now. Trigon starts fighting Darkseid. Cyborg opens up a boom tube back to Earth, and the heroes go through it. And then he opens a boom tube above Apokolips, sending Darkseid, Trigon, and himself into nothingness. Rest in peace, Cyborg. You were a true hero. After that, we see our heroes back on Earth. Broken, battered, but alive. Batman arrives and gives them an update. Darkseid's machines screwed up the Earth's rotation. The best case scenario is another billion people dying before they can fix everything. Constantine then tells the Flash that he has to do it again. He has to create another Flashpoint. Flash says he can't, but Constantine says it's their only hope. Sure, some things will change for the worse, and they might make their same mistakes again, but at the very least, it'll give them another chance. So Barry starts running, and this universe ends the same way it began, with the Flash running back in time. And that's hauntingly poetic, if you ask me. Boy, howdy, was that a lot. But we've made it to the end of the video. Anyway, be sure to check out another one of our less depressing videos. Make sure to like, comment, subscribe, and do all those other awesome things that you people do, and we will see you next time.